Welcome to another episode of Two Old Geeks Talking. Now on the World Wide Web.
Hey, welcome back to Two Old Geeks Talking. I'm Rob.
And I'm Trace.
And today we are discussing...
Hack and slash.
Yeah, it's... Now, that's... I don't know if it's hack and slash or just hack slash.
It's funny. Well, first of all, yeah, you brought that up. I was going to put like hashtag hack and slash.
It's any hashtag.
And,
hashtag would be the pound symbol.
Well, I know, but they call it hashtag. But
No,
I mean, but I was going to put that in the description.
Right.
And I was wondering because the comics say hack and then they have like a backslash.
Yeah.
And
Well,
slash.
it almost looks like a butcher
Yeah,
knife.
like this. Yeah, like a butcher knife. So don't really say and. So anyway, tell me about, because this is your topic. Tell me about it, brother.
So hack slash is a comic that came out originally in 2004 under the guidance of Devil's Due Publishing.
I like Devil's Due. I've got quite a few Devil's Due in my long boxes.
Right. I think they're mostly known for hack slash. I want to say, what other comics did they do?
Devil's Due has a lot. They're like IDW. They have a lot of license, where they do, existing things like Transformers. Do they do Vampirella? Devil's Due?
I'm not for sure. But anyway, so a young man, his name was Tim Seeley, came up and wrote the story for hack slash. Hack and slash. We'll just say hack and slash from this moment.
Yeah.
And so Devil's Due...
Can I stop you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Tim Seeley, I'm not familiar with the hack and slash comic.
Okay.
When I say I'm not familiar, I've never read one.
Okay.
But I knew you were a fan. And but Tim Seeley, he wrote a lot of, he did a lot of the art on the R.E. Salvatore books.
Oh, yeah?
And so I'm a big Dritz Do'Urden fan.
You just don't say that twice.
But so he did the comic book adaptions of those R.A. Salvatore Dritz Do'Urden books, and they were put out by Devil's Due.
Well.
And so I really like his art. He's got a fantastic art style. So
See, I'm not familiar with Devil's Due, but apparently I've looked them up since I knew we was getting ready to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm always used to the big two. But anyway, so they carried hack and slash till about 2010. Should we go ahead and talk about what hack and slash is?
Yes, let's tell the people who don't know, like me.
Okay, so hack and slash. I'm not a horror fan.
Yeah.
But
You don't like horrors?
horror.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, never matter. One of those I haven't liked. But anyway, I'm not a horror fan. But for some reason, when I read this back in 2004,
Yeah.
fell in love with it. I don't know if it was just because of the way it was drawn, because she is a scantily dressed young lady.
Yes, she does look kind of sexy now.
Right. But I really like the story as well. And it was not that it was actually trying to be like a horror comic.
Yeah.
It was being more like a trope. It was.
Is it a parody of horror comics? Because
Kinda.
I'm not a horror fan either. But having said that, my wife Teresa is a huge horror fan. She's the third silent, unseen member of Two Old Geeks Talking.
Right.
So she's made me watch so many horror movies over the last 2 decades. She feeds me cheese and she makes me watch horror movies. I don't know what she's getting at.
There's some kind of correlation.
Yeah, I don't know, no. But anyway, so it seems like a lot of horror movies. You have a lot of the same elements. You try to have your jump scares.
Right.
If somebody's running from a bad guy and they trip and fall, and so there's a lot of cliches in horror movies. And I had heard, because I haven't read, that hack and slash kind of poke fun at those.
To an extent, yeah. What I liked about it is the main character, Cassie Hack.
Yeah.
Why she does what she does is she hunts down slashers. Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you know what a slasher is?
That's like somebody with a butcher knife that goes around killing people.
Okay, so a slasher can fall under two categories. There's two types of slasher.
I'm being educated.
Yeah, right. So there are slashers that are alive that kind of have mental issues, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but on the most part, a slasher is someone who is undead, whether they're a vampire, they come back because of so much rage. Think of somebody like Freddy Krueger. You know, he was a guy that
He's
killed a lot
considered a
of.
slasher.
Yeah,
What about
he was
Jason?
killed, but yet he came back
What
alive.
about Jason Voorhees?
Jason would be considered a slasher. You know, somebody that's just. It takes an act of God to actually destroy.
Right, right.
So that's what she hunts down is slashers.
Okay, gotcha.
At times, she might be hunting down a slasher and actually just be.
Now, why did she do this?
So the reason she done this is because when she was a young girl, her father went out. What was it? He went out for like batteries for a watch or something and never came back. But anyway, so she had an overprotective mother, and the overprotective mother was a lunchroom lady.
Yeah.
And she would watch how her daughter would be picked on by the other children. And as time went by, these children started disappearing. The other children there in the school was beginning to get ill because of the food that the lunch lady was making. Well, basically, she was feeding the children the children.
So it's not an all ages comic book.
No, not really.
Okay, all right, okay.
So anyway, when they found this out, she literally killed herself by shoving her head into a boiling thing of gravy.
That's how her mother went?
Yeah, her mother went out that way. But
Lunch Lady Land.
so now she's without a father. She goes into foster care.
Yeah.
She moves away, but apparently her mother doesn't die or comes back from the dead.
Yeah.
They bury her and everything.
Yeah,
And so her mother comes back as a slasher.
yeah.
And so she goes to an all-girls school. Well, the girls at the school started disappearing. Come to find out, it's her mother again. So she literally has to destroy her mother this time, like shoot her right point blank in the face.
Yes.
She says, "I'm taking you home, Mama.
Yeah.
I'm taking you to
That's
some place that
Beautiful.
that I don't even have, right?"
Yeah, yeah.
So she takes her back when her home happens to be like a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
So
No, go ahead. I'm just looking.
she enjoyed the feeling she got. She didn't enjoy killing her mother, but she enjoyed the feeling she got from the violence. And her fear was that she may end up being like her mother as she got older. And so, kind of as like her retribution, or maybe trying to find peace with what's going on in her own head, she travels the country becoming a slasher killer.
So she kills monsters, or she kills slashers.
Right.
So it's a lot like Dexter, which is another.
I've never seen Dexter.
Dexter's a series that my wife makes me watch, and but it's about a serial killer who kills serial killers, or a serial killer who kills criminals.
Okay.
He tries to justify what he does by taking out bad people.
Okay.
So I guess in a way she's taken out.
Right.
She's taken out by bad people.
But she always knows in the back of the head and the back of her mind that this is something she could become.
Okay, gotcha.
So, in the process, she was hunting down this one slasher called the Meat Man. Mm-hmm. And she ended up partnering with Vlad, a character named Vlad.
Now he's the big guy with, is it a hockey mask or a gas
It's a
mask?
gas mask. And the reason he wears a gas mask is because he was found in a dumpster by a butcher. He's kind of disfigured.
Yeah.
And not normal looking.
Yeah, he's a big giant guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you would mistake him as a slasher, but he's not.
Yeah.
He was basically just kept hidden away for 20 years of his life. And the reason he wears the gas mask is because he doesn't think it is safe for him to breathe outside air because of the way he was raised. He was always raised inside.
He's got a mental problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of, you would say a little slow, but lovable as hell.
Yeah.
He's almost like her protector. Almost
So is he like sidekick in a way?
Yeah, he's kind of like
Or
the
partner.
muscle.
Partner. Yeah.
He's kind of like the muscle. She figures out how to go about setting things up, and then he kind of helps orchestrate it all, or she orchestrates it. He pulls it off with muscle.
Gotcha.
But so they went hunting for the same person with the meat man.
The Meat Man.
And so that's how they met, and they've been kind of together ever since. So that's the premise of the comic book. Again,
Now she always use a bat, or does she use
no.
different weapons?
So she's known for her bat,
Yeah.
but no, she's used guns, knives. Now Vlad usually uses what seems to be the largest freaking butcher knives in the face of the earth. Them
Yeah.
things have to be at probably close to 2 feet long. So he's used to using the same thing all the time. But no, she'll use it whatever is at hand. Ice pick,
Yeah.
whatever she has. Yeah. So what's his name? Seeley.
Yeah, Tim Seeley, which I picked up one and went through it, and I didn't know he wrote it too. I just thought he did the art.
Right.
So it looks like they have a rotation. Maybe other people do the art.
Right.
But Tim's always the writer, and so I find it interesting because I'm a fan of Tim's art, but I never had read anything he had written.
Right.
And so it's interesting. He writes and draws this primarily.
I'm kind of interested that he's still doing work for Devil's Due, because the reason he left Devil's Due with Hack and Slash was because he wasn't getting paid,
Oh yeah.
and he wasn't able to pay his crew, his team.
Yeah, a lot of people think that if you write, when I was a kid and I was growing up and I saw someone who wrote or drew for a comic book.
Right.
You think that they're rich. You
Yeah.
think that they're famous, but they're famous only in a small niche of America.
Right.
And it's a job like any other job, and so you typically don't get rich. I mean, there's people that have written for comics their entire life. Peter David would be one. He's in financial problems. Larry Hama would be another. And so these are big names, guys. You think that with the amount of stuff they have written and the quality of stuff that they had written, that they'd be set for life. But yeah, that's not the case. And a lot of these comic book companies are, you hear all the time about artists and writers not getting paid for months on end, and eventually they just got to walk away.
That is, yeah, because I tried to get on at a comic book company one time, and they were very demanding on how many pages we expect, when we expect them, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. For they to be so demanding and then turn around and not pay.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's when he brought Hack and Slash to Image. Image picked him up in about 2014, I think it was.
Yeah.
No, 2010. 2010 they picked him up.
Well, good for Image.
Yeah, and so she got like a second life. And actually, if I'm kind of jumping ahead, if I would recommend somebody to start off,
Yeah.
if you don't want to go as far as buying the omnibuses or
Omnibus. Yeah.
because I have 3. I think there's 6 out there right now. You could start off with number 1, My First Maniac. Mm-hmm. That would be good because it also kind of starts off by re-showing her origin.
Yeah.
And it goes more into detail. Plus, it also goes into kind of like you're doing a sneak peek into her diary,
Yeah.
and something that wasn't done back in Devil's Due. So it's kind of like, it's not like a retelling.
It kind of gives you the motivation behind the
It's,
character.
yeah, it's not like tweaking it too much.
Well, if you go from one publisher to another, and especially if there was a hiatus in between the
yeah,
two, it's always good to at least touch base with that origin story.
yeah. So back in the day, although you hadn't heard about it, it had a fairly popular.
Yeah, I'd heard about it. It was just like I said, I'm not into horror.
You're not into horror, right? So at the time when it became popular, excuse me, I'm trying not to cough. They actually came out with a card game.
Yeah.
That you could play, the Hack
Oh,
and
yeah.
Slash card game.
That's cool.
I don't think it went over that well. People kind of enjoyed it. It was premiered at the San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, of course, they're blowing it up there, but I don't think it went much further. What I think is funny is they had talked about doing a movie.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't.
Right? Well,
Because horror movies are typically not big budget movies. You can pull one off, and if she's already got a following,
Right.
I mean, yeah,
Well, they couldn't really settle. They went through like 2 or 3 different producers,
Yeah.
different writers. Then they decided, let's bring it to the small screen. Let's do
Yeah.
a series.
yeah,
And that kind of fizzled out, kind of poo-pooed out. But they ended up doing a stage show.
yeah, like Broadway type.
Like
singing.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they were singing. I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was just like a live action stage show.
Yeah, so Stephanie Bishop played Casey, and Adam Mark played Val.
Have you seen
or
any
Adam
part of
Mack played Vlad. No, I've seen stills. I haven't seen any video. Dude, he's no Vlad. I would not have picked him as Vlad.
He's not as big. He's not too big.
No. I mean, but I don't know if this was like even sanctioned by Hack and Slash. But
Surely it was. Otherwise, you'd be setting yourself up for a lawsuit.
Yeah.
With all these streaming services trying to just find content, I'm
right.
surprised somebody hasn't done that. What you'll find though is lots of times when you have an IP like Tim Seeley has this Hack and Slash, somebody will buy the movie rights. So they'll approach you and they'll buy the movie rights, and they would like to maybe make the movie in the future, but the most important thing is nobody else can.
Right, because they bought the rights.
They bought the rights, and so they can hold on to them, maybe make the movie, maybe not, or they can hold on to them, and maybe if the character gets popular for some reason, then they can sell those movie rights if they don't have the movie money to make the movie. So.
There was something else I was getting ready to say. I was distracted by something outside the window.
How about tell us about the bat you made?
Okay, so I was making these bats, made them out of Louisville sluggers back in the day. I made 2 of them.
Dude, you can be careful with that. That's got like rusty nails sticking out of it.
Yeah, because it was made back in 2010 or something.
Keep it away from my couch upstairs.
But anyway, I made 2 of these. And what's funny is I made this one here without the nails.
Because she had one without nails.
I think it started out with maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And then by the end...
Does she add a nail with every slasher she kills? Or?
No, but that'd been a cool little
it would
thing.
have been cool.
But anyway, I keep seeing a flash. But anyway, I took at our comic book store.
Yeah.
Like when you would pick up your Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah.
You knew that there were like 2 other people you and one other person.
Yes. There's hardly anybody.
Right.
There was me and one other guy that got Usagi
There
Yojimbo.
was me and 2 other people that was picking up Hack Slash because that's all he would get was 3 of them.
Yeah.
And so when I made this, I thought, well, if I'm going to make one, it'd be just as easy to go ahead and make a second one.
Yeah.
So I made the one without nails. So I'm walking into the comic book store,
Yeah.
packing this freaking baseball bat.
Was you packing the one with nails or without
No,
nails?
the one with nails is mine.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So I was packing this, and you should have seen. So there's the owner. I know him.
Yeah. Was it David at the time?
it was Dave.
Yeah.
But the young guy, I can't remember what the young guy's name is. He turned white as a freaking
Les? Was it Les?
It might have been Les.
Yeah.
He turned
This
white
is
as a
Moonlight,
ghost.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Moonlight Comics,
And
which
so-
doesn't exist anymore.
He turned white as a freaking ghost when somebody, because Dave was known to irritate some people.
Yeah, he had he was a little bit of a butthole.
Right. So when the young boy probably wouldn't have been surprised to see somebody walk in with a baseball bat.
Right.
But anyway, they wouldn't buy it, so I've still got 2 bats. So
Yeah, well, that's cool.
throughout the years, I've let my daughters do things like bust pumpkins and tear up tables and furniture. I mean, because every time it gets nicked, scratched,
Just
jacked
looks more
up,
realistic.
It just makes it look more realistic.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's really not a whole lot of.
What'd you do the wrap with? Just paper tape?
Yeah, it's kind of like a paper tape / grade medical tape.
Yeah.
And then I wrote it in the mud and dirt
Okay. There you go.
after sanding off the Louisville Sluggers.
Well, I've seen some cosplay
Right.
of Hack and Slash.
Yeah.
And it's especially it's really cool, especially when you see both of them together. Like you see Vlad and
Right.
Casey together. That's pretty neat. And I mean, you're kind of a big guy. You should go. You should go as Vlad and get like Brenda, your
Yeah.
daughter, to go as Casey. Yeah,
Yep.
that'd be kind of cool.
That would be
Yeah.
pretty slick.
Yeah.
Plus nowadays, I seen an awesome 3D printed Vlad mask.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it was badass.
Oh, you got to make that.
Yeah, it'd be perfect. But yeah, but like I said, there was like only like 2 action figures made.
Yeah.
One of them was made by a what was it called? Was it First Issue or
Yeah,
First
I see.
Comic or-
When you said you were wanting to pick this as a topic, I looked up some merchandise, and yeah, there wasn't a lot.
Yeah,
I didn't think you'd have any, to be honest with you. I'm surprised you had this.
Well, I actually picked this up in Tennessee way back in the day. It's a little dusty. And I still got the box over there. They made 2 versions of these. One was an exclusive, which I do not have. The exclusive comes with a plaid skirt, plaid socks.
Oh, you got to pay extra for plaid skirt.
Yeah, well, it just made it different, made it unique.
Did they make? I see she's holding Vlad's mask.
Right?
Did they make a Vlad to go with it?
No,
Oh, they should have.
nope. But she's standing on an axe handle.
That's
or
cool.
An axe head, which
Yeah.
I guess you could stick a handle in there if you wanted
Yeah,
to.
you could if you wanted.
But that's what I have as far as merchandise.
If you were to pick an actress to play
Oh, Lord.
Casey, do you have one in mind?
See, I'm old. When I think of actresses that look similar to that,
You
like
think of older
I
actresses.
think I like Alyssa Milano would have made a good Casey
Yeah, young
Hack back
Alyssa
in the
Milano.
day.
Yeah, yeah.
She would have made a good Casey Hack.
What about Megan Fox back in the day? Was she
No,
made her
Megan
own?
Fox ain't tough enough.
Yeah, she's
she
not tough
she might be attractive.
Yeah,
But
just a little bit.
She, like Alyssa Milano, there's times you would think, oh yeah, she could rip your face off. if
You just
wanted.
always had a thing for Alyssa.
No, well,
Milano.
that was our little brother.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah,
well,
he
wrong
was the
brother.
one that had the poster of her.
Oh, okay,
not
wrong
me.
brother, wrong brother.
But anyway, but I remember her from what was the television show where she played a witch? Her and her sister.
Oh, Charmed?
Charmed.
Yeah.
There was scenes in that, and you were thinking that girl's kind of.
Yeah, Teresa was a big fan of Charmed. Yeah.
So yeah, I think a young Alyssa Milano would have been a perfect.
And Vlad, you could get anybody. Just had a good voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's another thing. The way they write his voice, they write like all the lettering kind of squiggly, and
Yeah.
he doesn't really say like in-depth sentences. And so I've always tried to figure out what a Vlad would sound
I
like.
always assign a voice. When I'm reading something, I always assign a voice, typically an actor's voice. So who's the guy that did Highlander, Kurgan?
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking
Krusty
about.
Krab, Mr. Krab. What do they
Yeah.
call that guy? I don't know, we're old. But anyway, he'd be good. He's got a great voice.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter he's old because he just wears a jumpsuit, right?
He usually wears like a big overcoat,
Yeah,
wife's beater.
yeah. But that would, that's an IP that's really going to waste. Somebody should use that for live
Right.
action or a series or a movie or a video game.
Well, they've had tie-ins with other things. Like there was one where they had Chucky in her comic
Yes,
book.
I saw a picture
there
of Chucky
was,
attacking Casey or Cassie.
Yeah, there was Ernie from the Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
The Ernie character was
Yeah.
in one of her comic
yeah.
books.
Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness.
Yeah,
Like,
Vampirella.
yeah, so they've done
yeah.
crossovers.
Yeah.
And it just, something like they should work on probably, I don't know, revamping her or something like that. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Well, I didn't know anything about her, and now I do.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, all right. So you done?
I'm done.
All right, we are done. We appreciate you watching, tuning in. Please hit that like button and that subscribe button and that notification bell. It makes Robert so happy. Look at him. And stay geeky, my friends.
Later.
All right, we're done.
We're done.
We are done.
Oh, I was about to pick up your
We
cup.
are done.
Be careful now.
Yes,
Don't
I know.
stand
I
the
don't want to hurt
couch.
myself. I am totally out. How much was that figure?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Must not have been expensive then.
I didn't buy it. My girls bought
Oh,
it
they
for me.
did? Oh, they're so sweet. That's nice.